back to the YouTube channel of JJ Prime Reviews. And in today's review, we're going to take a look at the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Dark of the Moon Wheeljack (parentheses Q). Yes, the final Autobot for your Dark of the Moon Autobot cast. And I'm so freaking happy that we finally have this figure, this character in Studio Series form. So let us check him out and we shall see if he is truly worth having in the collection. So, let's go! Now, of course, before we take a look at the figure itself, it's always nice to take a quick look at the packaging. So we have a nice image there of Q/Wheeljack in robot mode and in his car mode. Very nice artwork there. Got Autobot symbol on the side, Transformers Studio Series. He is indeed a deluxe class, and his name is Wheeljack, parentheses Q. He's from Dark of the Moon. And on this other side of the box, we got another nice image there of Jackie's head. We got Dark of the Moon. And on the top, it says Dark of the Moon, Wheeljack/Q. And of course, we got the obligatory product shots here. 23 steps of transformation. Love this shot here. It's from the movie itself, which is quite nice. Now we have a little bio for him, which says Wheeljack, parentheses Q, uses his skills as a scientist to create gear for the Autobots. I believe he did. Yes, I did. Yes. I think he did. He did create gear for the Autobots. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry about that. My throat. nearly did a hiccup there. Sorry. But anyway, so that is pretty much it for the packaging right there. And here we have Dark of the Moon Wheeljack/Q fully transformed into his vehicle mode. Now he does transform into a Mercedes-Benz E550 because, you know, there's the E550 right back there. And yes, he is an officially licensed Mercedes-Benz car, and yeah, really good car mode in my personal opinion. I think this is where this figure really shines. A really good looking car mode. Very nice. This is the first time I've ever owned a Dark of the Moon Q/Wheeljack figure because I never found the original. The original Deluxe was cancelled in the States, unfortunately. The only way you could get the original Deluxe was, you know, to get him imported from Japan. You know, to get the Takara version. Yeah. Only the Takara version was available. The Hasbro version was not available because it was cancelled in the States, which was so dumb on Hasbro's part, but oh well, it is what it is. But we finally get a proper figure of him in Studio Series form, and I'm oh so happy about this. Now, let's get in close here so we can take a look at the details. We got the silver paint for the headlights, got the grille painted as well, got a little Mercedes logo painted quite nicely. And what is all this scratches? You got some nice translucent plastic used, a very dark translucent plastic used for the windows and windshields. You can see the wheels also nicely done. Got the little silver painted stripe there on the rim there. It's quite nice. A nice paint on the back of the vehicle. They don't usually we don't get the back painted that well, but I'm so glad for Wheeljack/Q they painted the back really well, and they molded in the E550 there, which is quite nice. A little Mercedes logo painted on the back there as well, and yeah, honestly, it looks very good. So there's the top, and then we have the bottom. We have the visible head is right there, and visible chest, and, you know, visible shins and everything. Oh wow. And he does roll. He rolls quite well. So yeah, very nice. Now, of course, he comes with some accessories. He comes with this thing. I believe what TFWiki calls it is the Naginata Spear. Yeah, it's called the Naginata Spear, but it's basically a staff. You know, big long staff. Anyway, and it also does include a blaster. Yeah, it's a blaster. And yeah, it looks pretty nice. You know, it's nicely molded. I wish there was paint on it, but oh well, it is what it is. Now, the way to store these in the vehicle mode, there is a little port right here that is meant for this little post. So you have to plug this right on there, and then there is a tab right here that will go into a slot on the side right there. Now it's totally ridiculous, but hey, it's weapon storage if you really want weapon storage right there. So I'm just gonna remove this, and we'll show this off a little bit more once we get into robot mode. So now let us bring in some size comparisons. We got a lot of comparisons to go through here. And here we have Dark of the Moon Wheeljack / Q compared with the other Studio Series Wheeljacks we've gotten so far. So we got a Rise of the Beast Wheeljack, and we got the Bumblebee movie Wheeljack. The real question is here, the real question to ask here is, who is the real Wheeljack? Who's the real one? Maybe this one? Or that one? Or this one? I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me in the comment section who you think is the real movieverse Wheeljack. Because I can't really say here, but maybe this guy. Maybe this guy is the real Wheeljack, because he actually looks like Wheeljack, so. But, oh well. But there we go. There we have the first set of comparisons. So let us move on to the final set of comparisons for today. And there we go. There we have the full Studio Series Dark of the Moon Autobot family. So we got Prime, we got Ratchet, Sentinel Prime, Ironhide, Dino / Mirage, Topspin, Bumblebee, Leadfoot, Roadbuster, and Sideswipe, along with some minifigures like Brains and Wheelie and Steeljaw. And, you know, well, Steeljaw didn't even appear in the movie, but he's still a part of the sorry, my tongue doesn't want to work today. But anyway, Steeljaw wasn't even in the movie, but he's still part of the Autobot family, in my personal opinion. And yes, I know, this is the wrong Ratchet color scheme. It's supposed to be neon green and white, but me personally, I prefer this color scheme. You know, it's what I grew up with, so don't really care much for the Dark of the Moon color scheme. I prefer this one, but that's just me. That's my personal preference, to each their own. But we still have the full Autobot cast from Dark of the Moon, and I am so happy it's complete. Yay! But there we go. That is pretty much it there for the old mode comparisons. So without further ado, let us transform Dark of the Moon Wheeljack, or Q, into his robot mode. So transformation on this guy is actually pretty easy to do. So first things first, you want to take these sections here, you want to untab this right here, bring this up like so, untab the other side, bring this up just like that, and you want to untab the side doors right here, just untab them just like so. It brings down the wheel also. Untab the other side, just untab that. Let me zoom out so that I can see what I'm doing, so that you can see what I'm doing. So just bring this grill up like so, and then of course you want to bring this up just like so, and of course you want to bring this door here, just flip this in just like so, and bring this up only a little bit. There we go. And then bring all this up on this double hinge, and then of course you want to flip this in, and there we go, and leave that there for now. So now we can take the legs here, just untab it from these two tabs right here, and then you want to split the arms as well. So split the arms, unfold them, unfold the arms just like so, and then you come to the front here. You want to take the arm, rotate it at the bicep, and then rotate the arm around so that everything is oriented properly. So that we have an arm all done. Do the same thing on your side. Just rotate the arm just like so, rotate, and there we have the arms pretty much all done. So now we can deal with his legs. So for his legs, very simple. You just want to split the legs here, and of course you want to take this section here, flip this up, untab it like so, and then you can take this and just rotate this down. And before you rotate it all the way, you want to flip out the foot as well. Just flip out the foot, and then flip out the heel spur. That will click into place, just like so. And now you can just rotate this down all the way, and there we have a leg all done and ready. So do the same thing on your other side. Just untab this section here, just rotate this in, rotate this down, and then before you rotate it all the way, you have to flip out his foot, and then clip in the heel spur like so, and then you can rotate this all the way, and there we have his legs pretty much all done. So now we have to situate the backpack like so. So let me lay him down here so that I can zoom out a little bit more. And then I need to bring up the camera a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. Alright, now we can continue. So now you want to take this section here, just unpeg this because there's a peg that goes into a port. I'm not sure you can see it, but there is a port underneath right there. So that goes into that post for vehicle mode. So now you can now once you unpeg all that, you want to take this front windshield and just flip this around just like so. And then bring all of this down on the double hinge, and then there is a tab that goes into an opening right in here, like so, where I'm pointing my finger at. So now you want to bring this in and tab that in like so. And of course you want to make sure that these hinges are touching the body here, just like so, and bring down these pieces a little bit. And the last thing to do is to lock this into place. So now take the windshield. You have to tab into those slots right in there, into those doors, and just tab that in, just like so, and tab that in, just like so. And I believe we're done. Yeah, I think we're done. Yes, we're done. So there we go. There we have Autobot Q/Wheeljack fully transformed into his robot mode. And he looks pretty good. He's definitely more screen accurate this time around, and I do quite like that. So yeah, but I do have some critiques about this figure, about my copy of the figure, but we'll get right down to that in a little bit. But let's get in close here so we can take a look at the head sculpt. And it's a nice looking head sculpt, you know, it's definitely accurate to how he looked in the movie. Very Albert Einstein look there for the character, and I personally dig it, you know. It's something different for Wheeljack here, or Q, if you want to call him that. No, I do like the metallic, my tongue stops working. Oh wow. We got a metallic blue paint for the hair at the sides, and I do quite like that. Nice blue paint for the eyes, nice gold for the mustache here. You do have some blue paint on the chest as well, a little bit of gold paint on the crotch. But yeah, other than that, you know, I mean, nice molded detail, nice sculpted detail, but you know, it definitely could have been better if it was done in silver, but oh well, it is what it is. Yeah, that's basically my main complaint with this figure, you know. It just needed a little bit more paint, just a little bit more to make him look a little bit better, but it is what it is. Then you have the hands right here. He has 4 fingers. Then we have his legs. Now, I believe in the CGI model, the shins were blue. I don't know why they made it gray here, but oh well, it is what it is. But all in all, I think he looks pretty good, you know. Yes, he does have a backpack, but I personally don't care. I don't display my figures facing the wall, so I really don't care what the back looks like. But again, you know, I mean, he's pretty cluttered, but it's still a pretty nice figure here. So let's talk about the articulation now. Now, the head is on a ball joint. You can't really rotate it full 360 because the collar at the back is getting in the way, but you can rotate it left and right, like so. He can look up a little bit, can't really look down. These shoulder pads can actually flip up to get out of the way for the arms, so you can actually rotate the arms to full 360. You can move in and out. You do have a bicep swivel, and you do technically have a double jointed elbow, which is quite nice. I mean, due to the way he transforms, I mean, you can use that to your advantage. You do have a swivel right here, so you can use that as your wrist swivel. Of course, the hands can move inward due to transformation. No waist swivel due to the way he is molded and due to the way he transforms. These hip pieces, or waist pieces, or skirt pieces, whatever! Skirt pieces can actually move out of the way for the legs, so you can get your forward leg movement. The backward leg movement, not too much because of the backpack. He can move out only that far. You do have a thigh swivel right there. You do have a knee bend, about 90 degrees of bend. Now, in order to engage the ankle tilt, you have to utilize this joint right here. So you can actually just rotate this down, and you can actually use that as your ankle tiltage right there. So that's pretty nice. It actually has ankle tilts, and of course the feet can move up a little bit. It can move down a little bit. So I mean, he definitely has most of the articulation. He doesn't have a lot, you know, due to the way he's done, you know, because he's quite cluttered. But hey, at least you can get things out of the way to accommodate for some movement there for your articulation. And of course, another complaint of mine is that my copy, the backpack, doesn't like to stay tabbed in. But oh well, it is what it is. But there we have that for the articulation. Now, of course, you can give Wheeljack/Q his weapon. So you can take the blaster and put this into his hand, like so, and he can shoot down some Decepticons. Or you can take the staff. You can actually put this into the hand as well, so he can actually no, this side. So he can actually hold the staff weapon here, or the spear. But yeah, it's quite long. I know. And of course, you can plug this into the same spot for when you store it in car mode. So you can take this and just plug this in there if you really want to. You know, hey, it's a thing you can do. But me personally, how I display my Wheeljack/Q is I take this long weapon and just plug it into a slot right in there. So that's what I do when I display my figures. I mean, when I display my Q/Wheeljack, that's what I do. Because in the movie, he had this on his back all the time, so he didn't really use it, so I'm just gonna put that there, you know. That's just me. That's just my personal thing there. But there we go. Yeah, there we go. So let us bring in some size comparisons. First off, here we have the Dark of the Moon. My brain shut down. Anyway, we have Dark of the Moon Q/Wheeljack compared with the other Studio Series Wheeljacks we've gotten. So we got the Rise of the Beast version of Wheeljack, and we got the Bumblebee movie. Oh my gosh, my tongue! How dare you! We got the Bumblebee movie version of Wheeljack here, and surprisingly, this guy's the tallest Wheeljack out of the three. And this guy's the shortest. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, we got a collection here of Movieverse Wheeljacks. But cool though. I really like that we're getting different versions of Wheeljack in the movies. I think that's really interesting to me, and I can't really say which one is my favorite design for Wheeljack here, because I really like the Rise of the Beast version, and I really love this one. This one definitely feels more like Wheeljack because he has the fins and the battle mask and everything. But this one is also, you know, it feels like a Wheeljack as well, because he's a scientist and inventor, so he definitely has the Wheeljack personality traits there. So, but I don't know, which one is your favorite? You know, I can't really say which one is my favorite, but yeah, because all three figures are pretty good in their own right. So yeah, but anyway, let's move on to the final set of comparisons for today. And there you have it, folks. There we have the full-on Dark of the Moon Autobot family, and yeah, awesome. It's an awesome team of Autobots right here. So we got Dino/Mirage, we got Topspin, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Ratchet, Leadfoot, Roadbuster, Ironhide Prime, and we got Sentinel Prime right there. And of course, we got Little Brains, Wheelie, and Steeljaw. And yeah, very nice looking team of Autobots, and they're very nice to see them all together in Studio Series form, and that makes me so very, very happy. Yay! But anyway, there you go. That's pretty much it for the robot mode comparisons. Okay, so here are my final thoughts on the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Dark of the Moon Autobots Q/Wheeljack. And, you know, a pretty decent figure for what it is. You know, robot mode looks good for the most part. You just needed a little bit more paint. That's my one critique about this figure, is the lack of paint, which is a little bit unfortunate. He definitely could have used a bit more blues, a little bit more gold, a little bit more silver to break up all this gray, but it is what it is. Another main critique about this figure is that he's a little bit cluttered. He is a little bit cluttered, but you can try to pose him in some wicked poses if you really want to, but you know, yeah, he's definitely cluttered with a lot of car parts and everything. But you know, when things have to work in real life and things have to go somewhere, then you know, it's understandable. Plus, it's a mainline Studio Series figure, so it's a mainline deluxe, so it's definitely understandable why it is very cluttered. Car mode looks wonderful in my personal opinion. Yeah, the car mode is definitely where this figure really shines. The transformation is pretty smooth, you know, surprisingly pretty easy to do, so I got no complaints for the transformation as is. Yeah, I mean, you know, for the final Dark of the Moon Autobot, is it really worth having in the collection? Well, yes, definitely worth having in my personal opinion, because if you really want to complete that Dark of the Moon Autobot cast, you definitely need this guy. But you know, if you have the original Deluxe and you are perfectly content with that original Deluxe, then maybe this can be an easy pass. But if you're like me, who loves movie screen accuracy, then this is a figure for you. But do keep in mind, just do be careful with your copy. Sometimes things don't like to tab in super securely, like the backpack. And you know, some joints can be a little bit loose on your copy, but you know, these are ball joints, so they're easily fixable. But all in all though, I do quite like this figure, and I really enjoy him. And yeah, you know, that's just me, that's my personal opinion. To each their own. He just needs a little bit more paint to make him look nicer. But other than that, I think he's still a quite good figure in my personal opinion. I do quite like him. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Pretty cool for what he is. So now if I were to rank this guy from a scale of 1 to 10, due to the lack of paint and lack of solidity for the backpack, and you know, the cluttered mess of car parts, I think I'm just gonna give him a solid, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I think he deserves that mark. He deserves that score as far as I'm concerned, you know. Could be better, definitely could be better, but all in all, I do quite like him, so. Alright, so with that being said, we're done with this review here. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have enjoyed this review, be sure to smash that like button down below, give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you want to share your thoughts about this figure, be sure to comment down below in the comment section below. Use that to your advantage. And of course, if you want to see more reviews on the channel, be sure to click that subscribe button down below. And while you're at it, click that notification bell icon down below as well, so that you never miss any of my future videos. And you can always check out my Studio Series review. You can always check out my Studio Series reviews playlist for any videos you may have missed. So I will post the link to that playlist. In the description down below. And I think that's pretty much it for me to say. So there you have the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Dark of the Moon Q/Wheeljack. And this is JJ Prime signing off. Peace out to all of one, and I'll see you guys next time. Old Man Wheeljack.
Greetings, Transformers fans. My name is Alita1. I would like to thank you for watching JJ Prime Reviews. If you would like to see more reviews, live unboxings, or even tutorials on the channel, hit the subscribe button and smash that bell icon to get notified when a new video is uploaded on the channel. Thank you, and see you next time. Till all are one.